202, Solomon, DC. What's on your mind?
Oh, Ben, something big just happened. Like the split you're talking about on the Democratic Party, it's bigger than the Republican Party, even though the Republican Party is more visual. I just linked you to this on Twitter.
But is that Joe Biden?
Yep. This morning on Morning Joe, Tom Hartman talked about this on his show today. I believe you said you watch his show occasionally or listen to it. He noted the fact that when Joe and Mika were bringing up the poll numbers and how Joe and a couple members had talked to the staff of various other Democratic leaders saying that if Hillary Clinton and if Hillary Clinton loses both Iowa and New Hampshire, the panic button get pressed. And the Democratic leaders, people around Gore said that there are going to be calls made. Kerry, Biden, Elizabeth Warren, that they're all going to start being called if she loses both. And Harold Ford, who I didn't really know, but apparently is very important in Democratic establishment circles, apparently, he seemed very panicked and very against when Mika said, why don't they just coalesce around Sanders if he's winning? He's the Democratic nominee. What's the problem? And he would, no, almost robotically, like, no, avowed socialist, that can't happen. You can't allow that to happen. It seemed like they were more afraid of Bernie winning than whether Bernie might lose. And that to me, that was just, interesting. I'll keep it to the side. But this article is hitting them even harder. It's in it. He talks, Biden doesn't endorse Bernie, but he basically defends Bernie against the attacks Hillary's making on him with guns, and praises Bernie for coming in to the fight and bringing to the national attention regarding income inequality, and says Hillary Clinton is relatively new to that fight. And CNN and then television networks are panicking so fast on this, but I just watched, I paused the headline on CNN, will Michael Bloomberg run for the White House in the Democratic nomination? That fast. Regarding this interview they just had with Biden. Like, Iowa hasn't even voted yet, and that's how panicked they're getting, because also it's a pollster that has a C- with 538, but they just put Bernie 3 points ahead in Iowa. And another, I think, American Observer, which has a B with 538 pollster rating, says he's only 9 points behind in the national primary. So the panic has already started.
Right. So here's,
and I don't know if I
thing.
should be scared, but I'm just amused right now.
No, I think it's amusing, right? Here's the deal. Reality check for everyone who's been voting Democrat all your life. At least the last 35, 40 years. The Democratic establishment is but one social issue different than the Republican establishment. There are very few differences between those establishments. And that establishment, they are the ones who make this game a consistent cycle. There's a consistent thing every 2 years. They get everyone worked up. They pretend like they hate each other, but all while they are all benefiting from two things: the lobbyists and the potential jobs that they get when they leave Congress. So they are all playing the same exact game. And so finally, it has taken 40 years for the Republican establishment, as the Republican base, as well as the Democratic progressive base, to finally wake up and say, you know what? We're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. We vote a Republican into office. We're going to get the same type of trade deals that are going to, bitch slap us, in terms of our jobs. If we vote a Democrat, we think that they're going to protect us from these things, but they feed us to it. Right? They use Barack Obama. They use Bill Clinton to make it more palatable. And so now the two different bases, totally ideologically different, right? But we're all dissatisfied with the economic paradigm. That's the consistent thing. We're all dissatisfied. And so we are seeing the split of both parties. We are seeing the progressives going one way, and we are seeing those folks on the right. I don't know what to call them. They're not really conservatives. They're like national socialists, Nazis. They're going in their direction, and they're all moving away from the establishment, and the establishment is terrified. And as right they should be. because that
And
represents
their
a dynamic
response, though,
change.
on the Democratic side, their response is Michael Bloomberg, an actual billionaire.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael
That's
Bloomberg.
I saw that too. I mean, you know what? But that's far more detrimental. I think at that point, I think that might be one of the few things, one of the very, very few things. If the Democratic establishment abandons Hillary Clinton and turns it over to a Michael Bloomberg or a Joe Biden or whoever, I think that might be one of the few things that will make some, not all, but a portion of the Hillary Clinton bots wake up and realize that Hillary Clinton does not represent progressivism. Hillary Clinton represents the establishment.
And that she doesn't even represent the establishment that much.
Well, not at that point. At that point, yeah.
If she damages the establishment's brand, they'll drop her like anything. They're the establishment.
Yep. Well, not even damage the brand, but if she can't win on behalf of the brand.
Yeah, exactly. She can't maintain status quo power.
Yeah, yeah. Solomon, thanks so much for the call, man.
No problem.
All right. Anyway, folks, that's the deal. That's where we are. Both establishment parties are terrified, and rightfully they should be, because the population has finally waken up. Well, we're awake. I can never do that one. I can never conjugate that one. We are awake. The sad thing about it is half of us that are awake and turn to the wrong solution. And that's the Donald Trump contingency, right? They're awake and they think they've got this figured out. They think they have the solution, and they turned around and gone into something that's far worse than what they already have, which is the establishment. Donald Trump represents far worse. All right.